SimCity 2013, or SimCity 5, was released in early March of 2013 and had one of the worst launches of any game ever. Leading up to this game's release, there was a considerable amount of hype for the game with some really awesome gameplay footage. The game was scrutinized before release for having some of the most hardcore DRM seen on a game to date. The game requires a constant connection to EA's Origin servers, and if EA ever does decide to turn the servers off, the game could theoretically be bricked altogether, although I imagine they would patch the DRM before closing the servers. EA responded to these anti-DRM protests by saying the Glassbox engine, the engine that SimCity runs on, has to be online because cities are so complex it has to send portions of computing to cloud servers. This may or may not be true, but honestly I think my computer could handle it without the cloud computing. SimCity's launch was god-awful for the first few months because the servers sometimes wouldn't save your game, they could boot you for no reason, they would roll back your city several hours, along with many other issues that would make you want to tear your hair out. It was a mess, but now that I'm playing it in the summer of 2013, many of the problems have been fixed through patches. However, from time to time I still get booted from Origin and have to reboot the game, and sometimes I can have a city that just stops working. At least now the game does a fairly good job of saving your game and not rolling back your city. SimCity 2013 has a major focus on multi-city gameplay. You can set up a region that'll host your cities in single or multiplayer. Honestly, multiplayer isn't that fun because cities get abandoned far too often, leaving the region in limbo. The region system is a fairly cool idea that allows multiple cities to share in economics and projects. For instance, if a city doesn't have enough places to work, your Sims might commute to a nearby city for work, or they might even consider moving there. In a multi-city region, you're able to work on projects with the cities around you called Great Works. Great Works help out the whole region in many ways. They can help by providing power in the form of a massive solar power plant, or tourism in the form of an international airport. Great Works are extremely hard to build though. I've only attempted to build one once and it only got halfway built. The thing that makes these projects hard to do is there's so many requirements for building them. For instance, the solar plant requires a certain amount of microchips. Now, in order to produce microchips, you need to educate your Sims through college, produce the ore that can be refined into the types of metal needed for the processors, and then you have to have the Sims educated enough to work in the microprocessor development facility. And then you need a warehouse to ship these microprocessors to the solar power plant that's being built. Now, all these tasks can be done with multiple cities. Your mining town can produce the ore, your university town can educate your Sims, and your high-tech industry town can bring it all together. It sounds fairly complex, but it's actually not as hard as it sounds. At least, not if you're playing multiplayer. If you're playing with strangers in multiplayer, you're probably not going to pull off getting a Great Works site done, due to the coordination needed between cities. There are several improvements to SimCity in this version that I really love. I really like that utility buildings can be added on with ploppable add-ons a la Spore. I also like that the electrical and plumbing systems are now tied to the roads rather than having their own pipes or power lines. My biggest problem with SimCity 2000 was how unforgiving the plumbing system can be sometimes, and SimCity 4 remedied it quite a bit, but this game completely fixes the problem. The roads also determine the maximum population density that can be on the buildings on the road, so a high-density street can hold a skyscraper, while a low-density street might be able to handle a few trailers in a trailer park. With the new graphical engine, cities really do feel much more alive than they did in previous SimCity titles. I love that you can actually stock Sims on a sim-by-sim basis, and considering I've had many cities get over 60,000 Sims, that's a lot of stocking you can get done. Most skyscrapers look different than each other and look really awesome. I love how you can see the difference between low-income areas compared to the shiny Dubai-style skyscrapers in high-wealth areas. The city specialization options are cool, however aren't as meaningful as I would like them to be. Setting up the first of any of the specializations is easy. The first casino is really easy to make profitable, however when you open a higher tier casino you start to hemorrhage money, and the same can be said for most other industries. This is frustrating when you need a higher tier version of something in a particular industry for a Great Works site, but you can't get it. There's already some DLC for the game which allows you to plop one building and change the aesthetics of all the buildings in your city. This is a cool idea, but it's essentially a skin pack and it's really not in my budget, even if I do want to make my city look like Paris. There's another DLC that allows you to make a custom theme park in your city, but there's a major problem with that, and that's that your space is already extremely limited. Did I say extremely? I meant freaking redonkulously limited. The biggest problem with SimCity 2013 is the amount of land you're given for the city is stupid small. After playing for 2 to 3 hours on any city, you'll hit the unfortunate SimCity wall. A wall where you realize the economy in your city can't grow anymore, and everything's already a skyscraper, or at least high density, so you can't expand with any other industries, and honestly, all you can do is count the money coming in, or build another city, or wait for a disaster. I'm not sure if I have bad luck, but disasters seem to happen really often in this game, and it seems like every time your city's doing a little bit better than it should, something will come and knock you down a peg. The disasters in this game are actually pretty cool, with my favorite being the zombie outbreak. I mean, it kills half your city and is a total disaster, but it's kind of fun when a Night of Living Dead wreaks havoc in your city. The game was designed to only have smaller cities in order for you to rely more on the region and forcing you to create more specialized cities. I can see why they did this, because they did put a severe focus on multiplayer in this game. Unfortunately, I pretty much never use the multiplayer, and the specialization is cool, but let me build a huge city. It's SimCity, damn it! SimCity's price is down from $60 when I bought it in April to $40 now via Origin. Honestly, for how much I've enjoyed this game, despite its problems, I think it's worth the price. Considering many of the major launch issues have now been resolved and the price has been cut $20, I think it's totally worth it to pick it up. But that's not to say all the problems have been resolved. While playing, I still see almost a nearly game-breaking glitch almost every hour. But I still enjoy playing the game, at least when it works. I still get annoyed by the small city sizes, but I keep coming back to play this game every now and then and waste a ton of time working on a city. If you can get past the DRM, this game is actually pretty good. It just needs larger city plots, which is actually something we might see in the future.